Hi there. Today I wanted to talk to you about 10 habits to help you build a regular art practice. I also have two bonus habits at the end of the video too that I'm going to share with you. So it's exciting to get back into art or to do art regularly, but I know it can be really tough to fit into a normal schedule. So I'm hoping that these tips will help you create that habit that you might be looking for. So the first thing is to make specific time for your art habit. So set aside even just 10 or 15 minutes to start. It doesn't have to be a lot of time because the trick is creating the habit initially, and then you can expand the habit out from there later once you've created the actual habit. Okay, so the second thing is have a setup. Now, I don't mean have an elaborate desk and an easel and everything laid out. That's ideal, and if you can do that, then go for it. That's amazing. But I know a lot of people are held back with practicing art on a regular basis because they don't have a specific spot to practice art. So if you can have a setup where you go to every time, that's fantastic. It could be the kitchen table, it could be your bed, the couch, it could be a little nook somewhere in your house or your apartment. But if you have somewhere specific, then your brain is going to associate that spot with the habit. And so this is something we're going to try and do, convince your brain and tell it that you're trying to create a habit so that it can identify that, okay, you're repeating the same thing again and again. So let's make this a habit. If you can specifically set up a place for your art, that's even better. It's not essential, as I said, but maybe you have a spot you can reclaim in your house or your living space. Maybe you just have a tray that you put on your lap on the couch. Maybe you have a spot where you can put a big desk and a nice easel. I mean, that would be fantastic. Maybe it's a little nook or an empty closet. It's always nice to have a dedicated spot for your art, but it's not necessary. But make sure that you do have an area where you know that you can do your art. Okay, to go with having the setup, also have your art supplies ready to go. So if you're doing your art on the couch, on a tray, or on a book, or whatever it happens to be, think about having a little basket or a bag that can hold your art supplies so that they're easy to grab and they're quick at hand. If you have to go out and pull out all your supplies and gather them all together and get ready, that 10 or 15 minutes starts to turn into like 20 minutes, half an hour. Even if you have just a sketchbook and a pencil to start with, just have that together somewhere where you know you can pull it out and set it up easily. A big deterrent can be you get all this stuff out, it's a big mess and it's a lot to clean up, and it's in the way of other things or other daily tasks that people are doing in your house if you live with other people too. So just try and make it all easy. Okay, number 3 is give yourself a deadline or parameters as to when you're actually going to do this, say 15 minutes of art every day. It's really hard to build a habit around something when it's shifting all throughout the day. So say one day you decide, okay, I'm going to get up half an hour early. Another day I'm going to do it on my lunch break. If you just keep it where you're trying to fit it in at some point, then inevitably all of those other priorities that come in and out of your day will just take over. And this last thing that is kind of a nice to do for you might get pushed to the side and might not get done. If you give yourself goals and parameters around something that you're trying to achieve, you're much more likely to get it done. Define that specific time when you're going to create your art habit and set a schedule for it. Okay, number 4 is track your progress. So use a tracker or a calendar. I have a journal for my art business and all of the art I do and everything. And I have little trackers in there for specific things. And so I'll either check it off if I've done it or not check it off, obviously, if I haven't done it. And what I find is if I have a tracker, I can look back on it and see how well I'm doing or if I'm not doing well. And it gives me some accountability. In the beginning, don't be hard on yourself around this because you're trying to develop the habit. So you won't probably be hitting every one initially, but keep trying to build up that habit. Your goal is to eventually hit every one, but right now, I'm sure you won't be doing that. And don't be tough on yourself for that either. So what's helpful to me too is that I get to check off those little boxes every time I've done my art practice. And then I get that little hit of dopamine, which is really motivating. And then it helps to keep me on track moving forward in the future as well. So it feels good to do that too. Okay, number 5 is have your ideas ready to draw or paint, because it doesn't help if you have everything in order, everything set up and you're on time, but you sit down to draw and you don't know what to draw because 10 or 15 minutes can go by pretty quickly. Have everything ready ahead of time so that you're not thinking about what to draw. You just sit down and you draw. Okay, something I actually do in regard to this is I'll sort of overlap a couple of different functions. You can also apply this too in thinking about ideas and planning for your art habit. If you take the train to work every day, maybe on the train you sit and you come up with art ideas and you write them in your notes on your phone. Maybe you're driving and you voice record different ideas, themes, and things like that you can draw and paint as well. Maybe when you're hanging out with your family, you ask them what they think you should draw. I'm sure they'll come up with lots of fun ideas for you as well. It'll make it much easier to think about how to do this. You can also create a Pinterest board and put all kinds of different ideas on there that you can reference. And I'll also include for you 100 different things that you can draw and a recap of this list of the 10 or so plus the 2 bonus habits for you as well. I'll leave the link in the description for all of that content, and you can just download it and print it and have it to go. So it might make it a lot easier for you, especially starting out. Okay, number 6 is join drawing challenges. Now, this can be kind of a double-edged sword depending on what you're doing. I'm going to assume that a lot of people are just trying to get back into drawing and create a habit. If, however, on the other hand, you're looking to create an art habit to do like a specific project, like you're wanting to do this so that you can create art for your portfolio, then you're going to want to create very specific artwork for that. And so a drawing challenge might just distract you from actually doing the artwork for your portfolio. So in that case, I would say don't do the drawing challenges and really focus on a short list of exactly what you need to achieve within your portfolio as an example. So number 7 is things not to do. We're all guilty of this. Don't hold yourself back from doing art because you don't think you have the right supplies or professional supplies or something that you think you should have because you see other people that have it. I have done an art haul video where I talk about supplies ranging from beginner student grade supplies and even stuff from the dollar store all the way up to professional level supplies. And I talk about why you can use the different range from A to B or A to Z and how you can use them, why I use different levels of supplies like that. And just know that the most important thing for you to do at this point is to get started. You can start with literally anything. You can start with your kids' crayons and something to draw on. That something to draw on could be the back of a cereal box. Cut it out, use it. It's a nice hard piece of cardboard. You can draw, you can paint on that. It's actually great to use. If you have a sketchbook and a pencil, you can do a ton of art with that. And that's a fantastic and easy way to get started with an art habit because you have a pencil and you have a sketchbook and that's all you need. And you can pack that with you and take it anywhere that you go and always have that available to work with. Also, it surprises me what you can get at the dollar store these days. They have all kinds of art supplies. No, they're not going to be professional level art supplies, so just keep that in mind. But they are art supplies that you can use to get started doing art. And, you know, I saw watercolor paper there. In fact, I have some watercolor paper from the dollar store. It's just cheap watercolor paper, and you don't necessarily want to be doing your professional artwork on it, but it's great for practicing or, you know, going out and doing plein air work or something like that. Also, you can ask your friends and family for art supplies as gifts for your birthday or for Christmas and things like that. You can also check thrift stores. Often, lots of times, there's different art supplies at thrift stores. The last thing that you really want to do and I caution you on this, is spend money on art supplies that you don't need or you won't use. If you're just starting out getting back into art or getting into art, I would say experiment with some more inexpensive student grade art supplies. And then when you know what you like to use, if you find, I love using gouache, buy some really nice gouache and just step up from there. That's really the best way to do that, in my opinion. Also within number 7 here, this is like 7B, let's say, this is what not to do. And this is really important. And this is the one I think that we all fall into for sure. Don't let other people tell you anything about yourself, especially whether or not you're good at art, whether or not you should be doing art, or whether or not you have time for art. They think it's a waste of your time, or whatever it is they might be telling you, because people have so many opinions about so many things. So whatever it is that's holding you back from doing your art, please ignore it and come watch some art videos with me or someone else, or look at an art book, or just do something else and inspire yourself. Put yourself into a community with other people who love art. Don't let the negativity affect you. Just push through it and do the art. Really try and identify anything that's holding you back. It could be someone else, or it could even be yourself. It could be your own voice that's saying to you, you're not good at art, you didn't do that well. Maybe a teacher when you were young told you you couldn't do something and you held on to that for a long time. It's really tough. You have to really identify the things that are holding you back, because it's not until you identify them that you can then sort of say, that's it. Okay, I need to reframe, create some affirmations or something around that, and create a positive path forward for myself. I also want to say specifically that you don't have to identify as an artist. I think some people think, oh, I'm not an artist, so I can't do art. Well, artist or being an artist is really just subjective. On the other hand, I would say everyone's an artist, because art is subjective. So if you want to create something creative, then you're an artist if you've created that thing. So whichever way helps you to look at it, embrace that line of thought for yourself. Okay, another really specific habit that worked really well for me, and I kind of touched on this already a little bit, was to use inexpensive supplies, because then I wasn't holding myself back worrying about this beautiful Strathmore watercolor sketchbook that I had and thinking that I needed to do some extravagant piece of art in it because the paper's so nice. And I have a really nice one like that. And I did do a little bit of work in it this summer, but it sat forever because of that exact issue. So what I did when I did 100 Days of Art is I went out and I bought a very cheap, inexpensive sketchbook. It was about $13. It had quite thin paper in it. It was a square sketchbook. And because I wanted to paint a little bit thicker, I actually glued the pages together with a glue stick. And so they were a little bit thicker. Still didn't take water great or anything, but I didn't care because I didn't worry about it. And I was doing these quick sketches every day. And I didn't care about the paper. So I didn't care even if my artwork wasn't looking fantastic. I wanted to experiment with different supplies. And so I didn't know how any of this was going to turn out. So that was extremely freeing for me. And if you get what I'm saying, then do this, because it's going to help you maintain that art habit, and it'll make it a lot easier for you as well. And so number 9 is to join a community or social group that is evolved around art. So it's really, really good and important for you to be surrounded by other like-minded people who are interested in art and who are supportive and who are, on their own art journey as well, because it's very, very motivating. So first of all, you could look in your local community, and maybe that would mean joining some art classes or a life drawing session, or join some local art competitions even. Now, also there's the online groups as well. So Instagram has a fantastic art community. There's also, of course, my art channel, and I'm striving to create a really supportive, kind, loving group of artists here who will, I hope, partake in comments and support each other. Number 10 is think about how you can reward yourself. Now, there's 2 parts to this. One is if you're feeling guilty at all about setting the time aside to do this for yourself, what I want you to do is to think about how you can reframe that way of thinking, because this isn't just rewarding for you, it's rewarding and beneficial for everyone in your life. So think about how important it is for you to make sure that you have a whole life and include things that are just for you, such as like following and pursuing your own dreams and desires and things that you need for personal fulfillment as a human being. And in doing so, makes you a happier person, somebody that has more to share with their kids or other people, family members, friends, etc. Someone that shows their kids that if you persevere at something that's really important to you, then you can achieve something. You can achieve those goals. It just has so many benefits, and I want you to see them in a very specific light. So if you're struggling at all with that, then just think about what the flip side of that is and what are the actual benefits for you in your life. The second part of number 10 is when you're setting up your tracking habit for all of this, you can actually assign yourself some real rewards. Whether that's something that you buy, maybe a couple of extra pencil crayons at the art store, or just something nice that you do for yourself. Maybe you make yourself that smoothie as a reward, or you watch a movie, or you give yourself an extra half an hour to do some art that week as a reward. Maybe you go out and you buy yourself some expensive paper. Maybe you go to the thrift store and see if you can find some art supplies. There's so many different things you could do as a reward, but the point of this part is to make it fun for yourself. Give yourself something to look forward to, motivate yourself to actually achieve these goals, and give yourself something special in return, if that works for you. If you don't need it or you don't want it, you don't have to do that either. Okay, so now to the bonuses. I have 2 extra bonuses. One is set a specific big art goal if it's suitable for you. So you may just want to be getting into doing art and right now that's it. But maybe you have a specific art goal that you want to achieve. Maybe you want to do some portfolio pieces. Maybe you want to do a collection that you would show in an art gallery. Maybe you want to write and illustrate a children's book. Maybe you just want to fill your sketchbook over the year. Maybe you want to create animal or pet portraits, people portraits, or maybe you just want to create a big following on Instagram. But if it is suitable for you, have a big goal, because that becomes really exciting and you feel like you're achieving that one thing that maybe you haven't set the goal for to create and created the habits to get to that goal. So it's a really good motivator as well. And the second bonus tip for you is have an accountability partner if you can. So that doesn't have to be another artist. It could be anybody, a friend, a partner, a kid. Maybe they have a goal to do something in art. Maybe they have a goal to do something else. Maybe it's exercise. Maybe it's something to do with food. But you both keep each other accountable and check in and support each other along the way and talk about how you're achieving your goals, what you're finding difficult, and just give each other the support. So then you have someone specific to actually help you achieve those habits. Now, not everyone needs or has an accountability partner. So again, this is a bonus tip for you to use if you want to use it. Okay, so let's just recap the whole list really quickly. Number 1 is make the time somehow to fit in your art practice specifically. Number 2 is have a setup. Number 3 is give yourself a deadline or parameters around when you're going to create this art habit. Number 4 is track your progress. Number 5 is have ideas ready to draw or paint. And again, I'll include the link for the 100 different ideas and the recap of these 10 habits as well for you, so it's much easier. Number 6 is join drawing challenges. Number 7 were the things not to do. So don't worry about the supplies and don't worry about other people's opinions. Number 8 was use supplies that are really inexpensive. Number 9 was join an art community or social groups. Number 10 was think of the benefits you're going to get out of doing this and how you might reward yourself. The extra tips were create a specific large art goal for yourself, something you can get excited around. And the last extra tip was find an accountability partner. So I hope that was helpful to you, and it gives you sort of a clear path to creating habits that will help you achieve a regular art practice. And yeah, if you enjoyed it, please leave a comment and let me know what you're doing in your life around doing regular art, any tips or tricks you have for anyone else, what you enjoyed about the video, and subscribe as well if you'd like to. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.